Yo, 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 what's poppin'? It's your boy EJ, aka Sir Evangeline Joseph, aka Mr. 10 Feet, aka The Bully, aka The Biggest Gym, Big Gym Stepper, Big Gym Dripper.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Coming with it today. It's your boy Wayne Willmatic Beats. Mr. Free Coast.
Hey, man.
1/3 of Free Gems
Come
Network.
on, dog.
The biggest network
Come
in
on,
the building.
man.
The greatest network in the building.
Listen, we are a network.
I'm trying
We're
to
not
tell
just
you.
a podcast.
We're putting the emphasis on it today.
The network. It just so may happen that we have a podcast.
Right. You know, that just comes with it.
That just comes with it.
But
Man, it's not about us.
not even.
Y'all sure?
Man, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nah.
Okay, well, I introduce you.
I wasn't prepared for that.
We also got Mr. Gumbo Sampson in the building.
Hey.
The fly dresser.
The human silk scarf.
The human silk scarf. The
walking
flyers,
art show.
Yeah, the walking art show. The flyers.
The walking art exhibit.
In the building.
Hey, man.
In the area.
I didn't mean for that to happen. I meant for y'all to get to our level again.
Understand? We know this.
Yeah.
We know this. It's a big day tomorrow. We gotta pop it today.
Right.
We gotta pop it today. But once again, it's not about us.
Because we have a lovely guest in the building.
Hey, man.
The
Beautiful,
phenomenal. The legend.
When you think of a runway, when you think of photo shoots, when you think of modeling, when you think of just an open book story within itself, I think about this person.
I think of a star.
Miss ReShonda Parker is in the building. How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Really fun, really good. I know that was a really long intro.
No,
Probably
it's okay.
the longest one.
Yeah, probably the longest one. But it is what it is.
Right.
How we like to start off the show, we like to ask all of our guests, where are you from?
Well, I was born in Arizona.
Okay.
My family was military. Came here, and I've been here ever since I was a baby, for the most part. But yeah, was born in Arizona.
Okay, we like to ask that question because we know.
Right.
Nobody knows about Columbus. Not like that. You know what I'm saying? And if they do, they got to be like super tapped in.
Right.
And we're a platform that we're pushing the envelope differently.
Right.
We want everybody to know like Columbus has something to say. Columbus, we have artists. It's not just about Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah.
We have entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
We're a big pot. If you need it, we got it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the platform to showcase that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, to go right into it, I want to know, and the world needs to know, how did you get into modeling?
Well, I was extremely shy when I was a kid, and my mom put me in modeling classes to bring me out of my shyness. So originally, it wasn't meant to be like a thing, you know, it was really just to bring me out of my shyness, and it just developed into a love for modeling, the runway, and all of the things that I was taught in those courses.
Right.
So after I got out of those courses, I started working with an agency in Baltimore. I was about 16 at that point. And so I went to Baltimore and I started working with an agency called Nova Model Management. And I was young at the time, you know, naive. I didn't have anyone to really guide me in the right direction, so I missed out on some opportunities when I was younger. I almost went to Essence magazine.
What?
Yeah, I like beat myself up about that for a while because I was young. I didn't really know what that meant, you know, at that time. Not like I do now. But yeah, when I was younger, I was voted a finalist for, I don't even know if this magazine is out still, 17 magazine. I was the only black female on the stage at Peachtree Mall when I was younger. Out of everybody out to represent Columbus at that time. And at that
That's
time,
huge.
I was only like 15 then. So I've had some opportunities. The biggest one that I had when I was younger was I had an audition, and I know what y'all are probably going to say to me when I say it. I won a year contract for a modeling agency, and they told us, you know, we will not call you. You know, it's your job to look on the side and go for castings and, you know, get your own jobs.
Right.
And so they were calling me, and they called me, and they wanted me to go audition for a movie at that time. And I'm like, I'm not an actress.
Wow.
I'm not an actress. What the movie turned out to be was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big bag you lost out on.
Oh my, tell me about it.
Jesus Christ.
Tell me about it. And I beat myself up about so many things, but you know, the thing about it is I think that everything happens at its right time still.
Right.
There's so much I know now that I did not know back then. You know, I'm older, you know, I am wiser, you know. And so I feel like back then I just, you know, probably would not have done as well as I'm doing now. I just have that feeling. So I try not to really look at it like, you know, I missed out, because I still feel like everything that's happening right now is meant to happen at this time. I almost quit in 2019, and then I decided just to, you know, go ahead and take another chance. And
Right.
ever since that happened, doors have opened. I'm signed with an agency now. I walked Fashion Week in Charlotte. I walked New York Fashion Week in September.
Wow.
6 times published in magazines.
9 times.
Yeah,
You're a brand ambassador of
brand
9.
ambassador. And I have 4 of those, actually 10. I made another company.
Listen.
10.
Pop it.
So, and I think 5 of them are local. And so I was able to do a live for a national hair brand called Camille Rose Naturals. The owner, I met her probably about 3 years ago, and I reached out to her on Instagram. I tagged her, and she responded, and she asked me to do a live on her channel. So I logged into her channel, and I did this live demonstrating her products. She paid me very well for that. And she told me she would like to continue the relationship, you know. So I was like, cool, you know. But I've done stuff with a local hair company here too called Annika Honey. She's starting out and has an amazing line, so I did a promo shoot for her. So I'm always working. I've done a lot of things, and I'm just thankful and I'm blessed to have the following that I have and the supporters that I have.
Right.
I was recently interviewed by WTVM. That was a big thing too. So I'm just doing some of everything.
Right. So I obviously lots and lots to unpack right there. But one of the things I definitely wanted to touch on was you mentioned your mom kind of putting you out there in the forefront to get you out of your shyness. The term they like to throw around is stage mom. For you, it's turned out to be a great success, but for a lot of kids,
Yeah.
is that usually not the case. How do you feel about that term, and do you support that whole phrase? And
Like
would you
the
do the
stage
same
mom thing?
Right, and would you do the same thing for your family?
Well, first of all, I'm not real big on stage moms.
Right.
Only because I feel that children should do what they love to do and not be forced to do.
Right.
And with my mother, she really didn't force me to do anything. She just put me in there thinking that it would help me overcome shyness, low self-esteem, because I went through a lot as a child. And that was her only intentions for doing that. So it wasn't like, she just pushed me to model.
Right.
I developed that love myself on my own and then started to do more because I wanted to.
Right.
But I feel that as parents, because I have 3 children, we should never force them to do things, if they don't want to do it.
Right.
Because they won't do well at it. if they really don't have the passion to do it.
All right.
So it's not something that I would personally do with my own children, because with mine, I have a 9-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 22-year-old.
Oh, man, you started over.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but they all have different interests, and I find out what it is that they really love to do, and I just support and encourage them to do what they love. So, I've never been a stage mom. And, to each his or her own, but I just think that it needs to be something your child is passionate about doing, and, you go from there.
Right.
I think that's dope.
Right.
Because like he was saying, a lot of, parents, they're opportunists. You know what I'm saying? With, long story short. So like they may see that and be like, oh, we about to get the bag.
Right.
Oh, this is a joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't for, your case.
Right.
Your mom looked at you and was like, let's help build.
Right.
And I feel like you said earlier, that's the key.
Right.
If you're gonna help, if you're gonna do something with kids, with your kid, because I have kids as well, help build them. Like show them that it's okay to be black. Because I'm sure your mom, told you that too. Even if she didn't, you learned along the way.
Right.
What I want to know, because you spoke on, you loving what you do. When was the moment that developed?
Well, I will say that when I started out, it wasn't something that I liked to do it, but like that real passion for it didn't come until years later. And I was in I'll say my early 20s when that happened. I was in a competition, and it's like the online version of America's Next Top Model, but this catered to women with natural hair. And it was 8 weeks of photo shoots if you made it through those 8 weeks. And I made it through the 8 weeks to the bottom 3, and I came in second. And that's when I really realized how much I love doing what I do.
Right.
Because in those challenges, we were given different things to work with, and I just loved creating, every week, just creating something. And I'll say my biggest moment doing that was Iman, the model. She judged me, and I won her challenge for her cosmetics. So that was something that was like the biggest thing to me, because she's like my idol. Right. So when that happened, I was like, okay, I kind of love what I do. But it came later. And so now I'm not, ashamed to say I'm 43 now. I'll be 44 in October. And I love it so much now because, there's so much I've learned over the years. And so, but yeah, it came later, but I realized I was really passionate about it when I was in my early 20s.
Right.
Was there any advice that she gave you that stuck?
Talking about my mom or
I'm talking about Iman.
Well, with that part of the competition, it was really her and her creative director both judged me, and I didn't get a chance to really talk to her. I don't know what I would have done if I had been able to talk to her. We just got the results back on who won and why and all of those things. But I've always watched her career because, she started off a young girl, in this industry and grew into what she is now. Right. But, I don't know. I just followed her and I saw her story, and then, everybody has their own story.
Right.
And so, with mine, I came from not having a lot, and then being molested and raped, and, things happened to me when I was younger that I just almost gave up, And so that's why now looking back over just everything that I've been through and seeing that, God was with me and I'm still here, I want to be that for other young girls, because sometimes we don't have anybody when we're, coming up that, could lead us and guide us and stuff like that. My role model was really my grandmother. She was the one that really raised me. And so I talked to her a lot and listened to, things that she would say and stuff. But, I'm probably all off subject. But
Nah. This is the Sean show.
Oh,
Right.
well, thank you.
All right.
All right, cool.
Here to showcase you and your story. So I mean, that's what it's all about. So
All right.
you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, cool.
I read something that Tyra Banks once said that one of her biggest fears was to be looked at as just a mannequin. Is that a legitimate fear of yours as well?
Honestly and truthfully, no, because I feel like before I put my modeling out there, like I was on Facebook way before I really got, back into this, and I shared a lot about my life, with people, and so I feel like I kind of, set the foundation, for who I really was way before I started bringing in what I do. So people don't look at me. I don't think they look at me and just think, oh, well, she's just a model, because I started off, very differently. I create jewelry. I had my own business in 2012. That was why I started my Facebook.
Right.
So I I kind of let people get to know me, before I started bringing in the stuff about modeling. So I don't think anybody would look at me that way. I don't know, but I've never worried about anything like that.
They know the real you.
Yeah.
Right.
It just so may happen you model.
Right.
Yeah, I just happen to model. Yeah, that's how I feel. People that are, I guess, new to me, because I still accept friend requests every day, but the people that have been there the longest, I feel like they truly know, who I am, because I go into my Facebook and I make posts about all kinds of things. It's not always about modeling, I'm a person outside of that, and that's what I try to stress when I'm doing my lives as well, that I'm just, like everybody else,
Right.
I just happen to do these things, but I'm human, just like everybody else.
Good way to stay humble too.
Yeah.
Like, cause with all the accomplishments, and especially now, like you could really take that and be like, really popping your shit and be like, yo, I'm here.
Right.
Y'all down here, but you don't do that. And
No,
I want to, I know I said it earlier, but I want to say it on air that I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Because you are a really big figure and a really big staple in the community of Columbus,
sure.
and as well as the world. What I tell people and what I said in the last couple of episodes was, when it comes to like watching other people's interviews on you, I didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did just enough research to have my own set of questions, and I wanted to learn about you. Right. And so to do that, it's been working. Mm-hmm. And now I had a respect for you before, but I have a bigger respect for you now. Right. Hearing some of your story.
Thank you.
How did you develop the love for yourself with you going through all of that?
To be honest, it took a lot of prayer. My faith in God is strong. Mm-hmm.
Right.
It had to be. Because I did go through a lot of things. I lost my first son in 2001. I went on and lost another child in 2009, where I almost lost my own life. And when I tell people I've survived a tornado, they were like, oh, you were in a tornado? Yeah, but my house literally got hit by a tornado here in 2007. Tore my home apart while me, my husband, and my kids were in our half bathroom praying. I've been through so many things, but I have a strong faith, like I said, and I know that, I'm still here because, God had a purpose for my life, And so I couldn't do anything but, love myself because, I knew he loved me,
Right.
And so I tried to, on my Facebook page mainly, because Instagram I post, a lot of pictures, but on Facebook I really take the time to really talk to people, share my story, like I said, and just encourage other people to love themselves as well. But it took a lot. It took a lot for me because when I was growing up, I was bullied in school for being tall, for being dark. It's nothing like it is now for me. I was picked on for all kinds of things, and I actually hated looking at myself in the mirror. In the beginning, I hated school. I hated, so much about me. And so to be where I am now is some days, I think about it and it's really, overwhelming for me because I never would have imagined any of this, But like I say, I owe that to God.
Do you walk around with a chip on your shoulder sometimes when you about to either get on the runway or about to go into this photo shoot?
Honestly, no.
No.
No. Like I said, I feel like everything happens for a reason, no matter what we go through.
Right.
And what we should do is take from the things that happen to us and learn from that, so we can move forward. So I don't have any chips on my shoulders really, and people were shocked when I told them that, when I was 9, like I said, I was molested. And I didn't forget, but I forgave the man who did it. I didn't have anything to do with him, but I had to forgive him, not for him, but for me. And that's what I try to tell people. Forgiveness, is more for you than it is for that person, because if you're walking around and you're, upset every day and hurt it, that person's not feeling that and worried about that, but it's damaging you, so, but no, anything that I've ever had any issues with, I always prayed about. And after I did that, I learned how to let him handle that.
Do you use your photo shoots now to just express how you feel in the moments?
Well, with my photo shoots, they're usually kind of themed in a way. But there are some shoots where I do, express myself, when it's not the photographer's idea, But I work with a lot of photographers here in Columbus and abroad, so we usually come together on stuff, communicate on what we're going to do. But, I would like to do more shoots where I can, express myself a little more,
Right.
But I have some things in the works, so you all will see when I do them.
Okay. I'm excited. I know I'm probably speeding up a little bit, but just I wanted to touch on this subject even more now because of what you just said. Going through being, molested and raped and all that dark stuff, how did you muster up the confidence to do Boudoir? I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah, look, it took me a while to learn how to pronounce it, and I was doing it. I kept saying lingerie shoots.
Like I didn't realize that's what it was called until maybe like a couple of years ago. But
Right.
I still struggle saying it. But that's like the biggest thing that I want to know. Like now, like.
Well, I had to work myself up to that point, because I wasn't comfortable with my body because of the things that I had been through. And I just know in this industry that, it's it's variety, I have to be versatile. And so I just had to work myself up into that point. I did a bathing suit. And that was like the first thing I did to get comfortable, with my body. And then after the bathing suit, I did my first boudoir shoot. Because I almost called it a lingerie shoot.
Yeah.
I did my first, and I saw, it wasn't bad, And then after that, I did a milk bath shoot. And then I did a full nude shoot. And after you do that, there's nothing more you can do.
Yeah.
That's it right there. And I saw the pictures, and I realized that, I loved the photos, Then I felt more confident, because I think until you really see yourself that way, really see yourself that way, you don't really know. But I looked at those photos, and I was able to tell myself, I kind of like, my body. I'm kind of comfortable.
Right.
And so, but it took, I had to work myself up to that,
Was it empower, like, as you were doing it, was it kind of like empowerment?
Yeah, it was, because I remember when, and I work with, like I said, many photographers and some really great photographers here. And when I did I felt empowered when I did my nude shoot, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because that was something that was, I was nervous about going into that, because I just kept thinking, I'm going to be naked. And my photographer, his name is Amir Leon, he did it. And he just talked to me, he said, after a while, you're going to feel comfortable, and you're not even going to realize it. And I was like, yeah, right, I'm going to realize I'm naked at all times. But when I got in there and I started, and he was, of course, professional, and I felt really comfortable, with him. And soon, I was able to do the poses and stuff. And then when I saw the photos, they were so beautiful. And that's what I was looking at, because, I feel like when you feel good about yourself, it makes you feel, more empowered. Right. And I had to see myself that way to feel that way. But yeah, it was empowering.
Mental health is a great deal, big deal, and you've been doing such a great job just on social media, like you said, just giving those words of encouragement to people who may need those, because we definitely need those.
Yeah.
We definitely need those words. Do you see yourself really maybe starting an organization for young black women?
I would love to.
Right, and just kind of bringing them in. And
yeah, I really would love to. That's something that I have given some thought about, because I'm reached out to literally every day by young black women. I think the youngest that reached out to me was 16. And it's amazing to be told, that they see what I'm doing and they feel that they can do it too, because they can.
Right.
And like I said, growing up, I didn't have the greatest childhood, but I had my grandmother, and she was like she was my rock. She's still here. She's 84. Mm-hmm. And like I said, some, girls don't have that, right. And I would love to start something where I could, help them. And so I do that, like I said, every day when women reach out to me and, tell me that they've seen something I posted, they read that article, they feel like they can, do what they love to do now, because I talk very openly about where I've been, what I've gone through. But yeah, that's something in the future that I would love to do.
Is modeling a release for you?
It is, because really, like I said, when I started, and then the way that I started, it was like almost like a security blanket. It was my comfort zone.
Right.
And so, yeah, very much so. Yeah.
It's definitely a way for you to get lost in.
Exactly, and I get to become different people. One of the things that I love doing is I do, cosplay shoots, and I was new to doing that. I have another photographer that introduced me to doing that. His name is Christian Ortiz, and he's a big business owner and a voice in the community, and he sent me a photo one day of Storm, and I was like, I love Storm, because I grew up reading comic books and stuff like that, and I love Storm. I love the Sheroes, And so when I did my Storm shoot and I saw the response that I got on that, and then we started thinking about other things, that we could do. And so then I did Nubia, which is Wonder Woman's black sister. That's what we did. And so, but it gives me a chance to just, get lost in, and I love that. I love my photo shoots.
Is it solid on most shoots, or is music involved in some way?
I like music because it helps me get into it and move, and but I've also had shoots where there was no music. I prefer music,
right?
Because I just love music anyway, and I think that it helps you to just loosen up. So I usually have my playlist, or my photographers know me pretty well, and they'll have a playlist of the stuff that I like to listen to. But for the most part, music is involved.
What's some things in that playlist?
The Weeknd.
Oh man! Listen, we missing out right now.
The Weeknd. I think everybody on Facebook knows I love The Weeknd because and SZA, she's my girl. But I listen to a variety of music. I grew up listening to like alternative music. And it wasn't cool, back then being a black female, listening to Guns N' Roses and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I listened to some of everything. But yeah, my playlist is a variety. Like, it's got a lot of people that some may have never even heard about, But those are my two favorites right there.
Right.
Yeah. Weeknd
and SZA.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you.
Nah, that's dope.
I ain't mad at you. We love Weeknd and SZA.
Yeah.
I want to switch it up a little bit. You mentioned that you had 3 kids.
Yes.
So, what's the work-life balance for you?
Oh gosh, I'm still trying to figure it out. To be honest with you, because this is the busiest I've ever been, But I think I'm doing okay. My main thing right now is trying to get enough sleep, I guess. But I'm very much a mom. My kids are my priority, no matter what. No shoots or anything come before them. Right. I'm into their lives and what they want to do, and their schoolwork. Since my youngest is virtual, my oldest has gone back to my oldest son. He's gone back to high school in the building. So it's busy. It's busy for me, but I'm trying to still kind of figure out, a balance, because I do still have a business as well that I'm supposed to be launching my website for that I have not done yet, because modeling has kept me, pretty busy. Yeah.
Which is your business too?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There's multiple.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
a lot.
And it seems like, do you ever get overwhelmed and like, do you feel like you can never just? Not, of course, being a parent and being a business owner, you can't clock out.
Right. That's why I just wanted to ask, as an entrepreneur, how do you value sleep?
Oh gosh.
What is sleep?
I get it when I can. That's basically how it is, and it's bad. I get it when I can. I joke with people and tell them I'm a night owl and an early bird at the same time. I go to bed late and get up early. You're
probably the last person to go to sleep.
Yes.
And the first
person to get up every morning. I'm up like 5 a.m. But yeah. I mean, I have to learn, how to balance it, because I'm pretty much, on 10 every day, all day. So I have to learn how to balance.
Does it feel like work?
Honestly, no, because I love, and that saying, if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. That's true. That's true. Like, when I say I live for my photo shoots, like, I was doing photo shoots like every week. Right. I was doing shoots and shows, and I loved every moment of it.
What's the furthest modeling has taken you?
Well, I will say that going to New York, walking Fashion Week is a dream for a model to go to New York, and I will get that opportunity in September, so I will count that as my biggest so far. But the show that I did in Charlotte was another big opportunity, because I've never walked Fashion Week. And so the designer that I walked for then, she reached out to me last year. I think it was early last year, and she asked me would I walk for her in her New York show. And at the time, I didn't know who she was, and I thought, I was being punked. I had to check into it and see, who she was. But once I saw she was legit, I was like, oh, wow. And she asked me to walk her New York show, but I did not imagine that she would have me walking other shows. I walk another show for her in March. So I'm going back to Charlotte to do that. So it's just been an amazing experience.
Can you say who the
her
designer is?
Name's Melanie Caballero. Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. And then there's another designer in Atlanta that she has a brand, House of LaRue. And I worked with her. I was able to work with her 2 times. And her name's Benet. And she's an amazing designer. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's really amazing. And so I was able to also compete in the competition where I became a brand ambassador for another designer. Her name's Shanika Walker. I'm no longer her brand ambassador only because one thing about me is I want to give stuff my all. And if I can't give it my all for any reason, I don't feel like I'm doing my job,
mm-hmm.
And because of the distance with where she is, I was not able to, like all the other models for her, live closer. Mm-hmm. Like they're in South Carolina. And there were shows and different events that they were doing that I just can't, up and just make it like that. So, but we still have a great relationship. I support her 1,000%,
right.
And she still supports me. So we formed a bond, and me and the other models are like sisters, like literally.
That's dope.
Yeah. So it's been cool.
Is the model community close knit?
I would say it just depends on the person,
right.
Because it's like with anybody, there will be some people that you really click with, and there'll be people that you don't. I'm fortunate that I have clicked with a lot of the models that are here,
right.
and other places because I'm me at all times. I'm laid back, and but that's like I said, it's like with anybody, some personalities clash, and I just tend to just like I said, be me at all times. And so I will say that I'm close knit with a couple models here.
What's the competitive nature towards it? Like, do you go in and like
take your head off?
Yeah, like when I get on, like I see what y'all doing, but when I get on here,
when I get on this runway,
it's over for y'all.
Just know it's the Shonda show.
I think that if you're not like that, then there's a problem. I mean, you can be that way without acting like you're just the shit. But anytime I do a shoot, anytime I walk a runway, I mean, you got to hype yourself up, not to the point where you're making other people feel like you're better than them, because I'm not better than anybody. I'm just me. Right. But you have to give yourself those pep talks before you get out there, because when I walked Charlotte Fashion Week, I can't tell you how long that runway was, and I had people on both sides, and then at the very end, it's nothing but photographers. I mean, like, amazing. And I just, I had to tell myself, because I got nervous, but I had to tell myself, you do this for a living. Come on, let's go. But, you have to tell yourself stuff like that,
What's that? What was the song that was, do you have like songs playing in your head sometimes to like get like to take you away from, or what does a model think about in those?
What do I think about? Honestly, I don't have a song playing in my head, no. But I do just, like I said, talk to myself and, give myself a pep talk. You can do this. This is what you love. this is what you were born, wanting, to do.
Yeah.
So, just do it, So I have to give myself my own little pep talk. That's what I'm thinking when I'm on the runway.
Like when I now that you said something about it, like, because you know how in the game, whether it's LeBron or Tom Brady, sometimes it just clicks and they don't think about anything and they just do.
They're in the zone.
Yeah, like is that for you too? Like, are you in the zone when you out there? Because like you said, you can't tell me how long the runway is or anything like that. Like, do you just kind of like black out and?
Well, in a sense, I mean, I'm fully aware still of everything that's going on around me, but once I, it's like I'm nervous before I get on the runway. Like every show I've done, I'm always, my anxiety. But once I get out there, it's just a different story. It's like I'm just in my element, Photo shoots. I absolutely love photo shoots. I love photo shoots more than I do runway. Like when I started out, I didn't even want to do runway.
What? So what got you into it?
People telling me I needed to because the height that I am, I'm 5'10", and I always got stuck with runway. No matter what, I was always stuck on a runway, and I just over time, just got used to it. But in the beginning, no, I didn't want to do fashion shows. I just want to sit and take pictures. That's what I wanted to do. And I would have never, like, the stuff I do now, like to get in front of people and to actually talk. I didn't want to be a spokesmodel, but now I find myself, doing those types of things, so, but that's just been something that over time, just started to develop.
How does it feel to know that people look at you and they seeing bigger? You just say that you saw yourself, you just wanted to take these pictures, but they're looking at you and they're like, no, you should be doing this. They see you on the runway, they're like, no, you should be the spokesperson. They're seeing these bigger things for you. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel great, honestly, but it still amazes me that people view me so much differently, than I do, because I look at the stuff that I do and I'm just like, it's just my job. It's just what I do. And then they look at me and they see something so much bigger, and it amazes me. I'm very thankful and appreciative to, like I said, everybody that has been supporting me, because I realize, that they're taking time out of their lives, to support me, and that means a lot to me.
I have a daughter. She's 5.
Yeah.
And say she wants to be a model, or she wants to try her hand in it.
Yeah.
What's the first piece of advice would you give my 5-year-old?
That I would give to her? Well, I would just ask her, if she loves it, If she tells me that she does, I'll tell her, baby, you can do it. You can do anything. You can be anything you want to be, do anything you want to do. I just feel like, our kids are very smart. They're very smart. And we should talk to them, when they're young like that. I realized that when I had kids, my daughter was my first child. Like I said, she's 22 now. But, I started talking to her at a very young age, and she would tell me things that she wanted to do. And I would just encourage her, because like I said, I did not really have that. And so, as long as it's not something that, will hurt them, I would encourage it, and I just find out, why she wants to do it, and let her tell me, and then you just I would just tell her, well, you can do it, you can do anything.
What's the first couple of steps
for getting into
for getting into modeling?
Well, I have some do's and don'ts.
I will. We need to hear both sides.
Yeah. Well, for one, and this is all learning from experience, because I speak on things that I've personally been through, not stuff that I've heard, stuff like that. But starting off, the money thing. If someone's asking you for money to get into this, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. you should invest in quality pictures, you know, your photos, because you're building a portfolio, you know. So if anyone's asking you, you know, for money, you know, this amount of money, and, you know, they're making you promises, then no. You know, that's a big red flag. But it's a lot of, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of trial and error, you know, sometimes. And things have changed a lot, honestly, from how they were when I started off, you know, because like I said, I was 13. You know, things have changed a lot now. But, you know, I would just do your research, like really do your research on photographers, on agencies, on everything. That's like my biggest like tip to people, because there was a time that I didn't do mine, and, you know, I ended up caught up in, you know, all kinds of, you know, craziness because I did not do the research, you know. Everything that sounds good isn't always good, you know. But that's pretty much, you know, the biggest things that I would say to do is just to do your research, and to not give out money because you're asked for money to do this, you know. Invest in, you know, your portfolio, you know, build one of those, and, you know, that would be like the biggest tips that I would give.
Is there a difference between the terms model and supermodel?
I think, kind of, sort of. Supermodel to me would mean like, you know, the big named models that you just hear about and see everywhere, you know. And I hate to put it that way, but, you know, that's pretty much what I think, you know, a supermodel is. Someone like, you know, Tyra, you know, Iman, Naomi Campbell, you know, all these bigger names, because you just, I think it's just something like a title given to, you know, the models that are the ones that are always out there. But I don't really honestly don't like the term supermodel, because I think it takes away from the hard work that us regular, you know.
Don't even say regular.
You know, we're not the big names, you know. But I think that takes away from the hard work we do, because this industry is not easy. You know, we work hard. I had a friend on Facebook tell me just the day before yesterday, he said that he didn't think that modeling was like a job. He didn't think that it was hard. Yikes. And he told me, well, he didn't say it in a way that was like, you know, what you do is not, you know, hard. Yeah. He was just like, I had no idea, you know, that modeling was, you know, that hard, because he thought it was just, what did he tell me, posing and standing, or, you know, something like that. So I did a whole live just explaining why, you know, it's a job, it's work, you know, it's work for us, it's work for the photographers, it's a lot of work for them, but it's work for us, you know. It's not something that you know, is like easy like that.
The average person can't go out there and do that.
I mean, I don't know, I guess it just depends on, you know, the person and what you really want, you know, for yourself. Because like, if you want it bad enough, like with anything, if you want it bad enough, then you get out there and you do what you got to do, you know, no matter what.
How does an aspiring model get published?
Well, with me being published in the magazines that I have been published in, sometimes, you know, you can submit your work. Sometimes your photographer will submit their work. And the magazines that I have been published in reached out to me. So I was amazed by that, you know. And it's different ways to go about it, but for the most part, I think it's really like something that the photographers, you know, do. And you get, you know, the recognition because you happen to be the model in that photo that they submitted, you know, to, you know, that magazine. No. But I've had some magazines reach out to me where I have sent in, you know, submissions to them, and of course credited my photographer, you know, for doing the work. So it's different ways to go about it.
With you, who are some of the magazines that you have posed for?
Well, some I can't mention.
Okay, gotcha.
Only because I have to sign something, like a little agreement, but the ones that I have been published in so far, and this is going to sound so horrible because I can't even pronounce it. AMMA. I'll have to get back to you later.
Okay.
But one was Southern Vibes, and that's a South Carolina. It's a magazine in South Carolina. And then, oh gosh, I feel so bad because I'm sitting here and I'm racking my brain because I just got published again like a couple days ago. And it's another model. She started a magazine where she's at, I think she's in Mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in Mobile and she has her own magazine, and I was published in that. And there's a local magazine here by another model, and I'm waiting to see what she does. So I can't say just yet because I'm waiting to see if I get published in that.
Right.
But there have been some magazines that I've worked on that I did have to sign agreements that I wouldn't even like discuss that part until it comes out. But I hate even bringing this one up because I had a lot of controversy about this magazine. There was a magazine in New York called Portfolio Magazine. I was published in that one, and I wanted to celebrate that, but I can't really celebrate it because truthfully, and this is something else that it relates to the question you asked me about the good and the bad side of modeling. The photographer I worked with on that shoot, I have a sexual assault charge against right now.
Wow.
And that's another thing that I do want to address, because after this happened with me, I went on my Facebook page and it took me like days to even come out and say what even happened because I was in shock. That's never happened to me before. And so, then I started thinking about it and I said, well, I wouldn't be doing any other model any good if I did not talk about it, because who knows, somebody else might have been through this before, or this would help somebody else not go through this. These are the things that you can do to protect yourself when you go on these shoots, because it's a good idea to have somebody with you when you're going on a shoot where you don't know that person. And it might sound like a common sense thing, but a lot of us do it. We'll go to shoots alone sometimes. But after that experience, it just made me more aware and more cautious. So when you're starting out doing this, it's a good idea to, have somebody with you when you're going to go shoot with somebody for the first time.
Right.
And, it's just about, safety. You got to be careful.
Right.
What do you look for in a photographer that makes you want to work with them?
Well, I look at a lot of photographers' work. I'm drawn to photographers that they do the out of the box type of stuff. I like being different. Like, I literally look at what everybody else is doing and I'm like, I don't want to do anything like that. I want to do this. And then I'll find a photographer that does that, because I work with quite a few, but I look at their work. And if it really speaks to me, then, I want to work with them. I want to create beautiful images, but I want them to be different, not the norm, type of stuff.
What's one experience that you feel like directly attributed to why you're the model that you are today?
Well, that's a hard question because there's so many things that have contributed to this. That's the hardest question y'all asked me. I really gotta think about the answer to this one.
Or moments. I said or moments, even if it's not just one.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you can give a few.
Let me see, that contribute to who I am. Well, like I said, I keep in mind a lot of the stuff that I've been through.
Yeah.
And like I said, just with the the childhood that I had with just being, picked on, I think that has really like made me just want to get out there and do this even more, because like I said, I am big on showing, like I said, young girls, young women, adult women, that no matter what we have been through, this is still something that you can do, and especially like at my age right now, when, back then it was probably kind of unheard of to really start a modeling career at 43. Fresh new faces is what they wanted, and now it's so open, to every age, That's still a hard question. I'm sitting here like but I mean, it's just my life, just everything I've been through has contributed to who I am as a model. It's really hard to
pinpoint.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it really is. That's why it's a hard question. So you stumped me on that one.
I apologize.
Look, everybody on Facebook knows I'm hardly ever like speechless. Like when you ask me a question, I can't even answer it. I'm like, wow.
Well, but he in his bag.
I know.
My bad.
Look, I'm scared of him asking me questions now.
My bad.
What does you've been signed to quite a few agencies. What does being a signed model entail?
Well, before being signed to this agency, actually, I was sent 3 contracts before this one that I signed with. Mm-hmm. Because I did not agree with certain things about the contracts, I did not sign. Because like I said, you have to do your research. Mm-hmm. You have to, because I got excited at one point. Like the last agency sent me a contract. I got so excited and announced it on Facebook, I'm signed. And then I read further into it and I was like, oh, wow,
Well,
No. I'm
sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
That's a really big gem.
Right.
That is a really big gem. Like obviously you've looked at who all we've mm-hmm. Had conversations with. I don't like to call them interviews, but they're conversations.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like with you giving an example, that's a great example of reading a contract that you've been presented.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, especially black people, yes. we get opportunities and we're like, oh shit, they talking $100K, they talking $1 million or whatever, and we like, man, I'm bump with Evo talking about, let me do.
Yeah, you got to do you got to read, and not just read it but comprehend it. It's 2 different things. You really need to understand what it is that you are reading. Like the last contract, that was the 3rd one, because this one's the 4th, and I actually signed this one. But the last contract that I had, I mean, I sat on that contract for like a week, sending it to people in the industry that I knew, was familiar with, contracts. And I even sent it to a lawyer. Mm. I sent it to a lawyer. And, because I knew that what I was reading, I wasn't going for, but I just wanted, other people to read it and confirm that, this is what I'm reading.
Yeah, to make sure you weren't tripping.
Yeah. And so when I realized that I wasn't tripping, I didn't sign it. So, but yeah, it's important to read these contracts. I mean, yeah, it sounds good. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we do jump and we get excited and stuff, but no, you really have to read, because you could be signing your life away and not even realize what you're doing.
Right. What's some of the like bad contracts that either you have signed or like you've heard of somebody signing that was like I said, that was a bad contract? Like what was some of them?
Well, a person that I know was connected with another person in I guess they were rappers, mm-hmm. and they had signed a contract where the majority of their money went to management, and they didn't even realize that's what they had signed. they literally weren't getting anything because they got excited, you know, that they were getting signed with this, you know, whatever, and they signed their names without reading, just skim through it.
Right.
And you just can't do that. I mean, you know.
I'm sorry. Do models get advances like how artists do?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I guess it depends on the agency,
Right.
you know. But they have their industry standard percentage that they take from what the model makes, you know. And that's basically, you know, the same with every agency. So as far as like advances go, I'm not sure. There might be some that do, but, you know, not the one I'm with. not the one I'm with. But, you know, still, when I read through that contract, it sounded really good. And also, even if you sign a contract with some agencies, you still have the opportunity to book your own work and that money just be your money. You know, if it goes through your agency, of course, you know, they get their percentage, you know, of whatever, you know, but if you're doing it on your own, then, you know, that becomes yours, you know. So I'm still, you know, I'm signed, but I still have the option of going out. Like if I see a job and I go for that and it's not under my agency, you know, then I keep my money, and anything I go for through them, you know, they get their percentage.
Right.
So, you know.
We've talked about it off the air, and then we talked about it on air on multiple episodes about how a lot of times, and EJ touched on it briefly, just our people that come from poverty-stricken areas just not being conditioned and just not having the education and taking these bad deals. And it's hard for them to say no to those advances.
Yeah.
When they're not used to having anything. How do you tell a younger person to be more thorough and to read that contract and to maybe turn down that advance? How do you explain that to a younger person? How would you do that, being somebody that they would look up to?
Well, I would just start off by telling them that, you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You know, you have to, if you're serious about what you're doing, you have to take everything about it seriously. And I could imagine that it would be hard, you know, for somebody that, you know, came from not having much to turn something down, you know. But I would just talk to them and get them to understand, try to get them to understand anyway, because, you know, everybody's got their own mind. They're going to do what, you know, they want to do no matter what you say to them. But I would just try to talk to them and get them to understand that, you know, waiting isn't a bad thing.
Right.
You know, like, I would just give examples of things that I have been through, you know, and how waiting for me, the reward at the end was so much bigger.
Right.
You know, but that's kind of, you know, hard. You know, I really just talk to people through my experiences and stuff. But like I said, at the end of the day, you know, you can't really, you know, make a person, you know, see things the way they need to.
Right.
But I would just try my hardest just to talk to them and just, you know, I don't know. You have some heart. You have something there. That's what I would do.
No, man, that's two in a room.
Look, not that you're not asking good questions, but look, I'm finna talk to you. Ask me questions. But no, I mean,
his bag.
yeah, but no, I mean, seriously, like, you know, I just know that, like, for me, for an example, I've always wanted a contract.
Yeah.
Like, that's what models want. We want contracts, you know, with agencies. We want to be signed, you know. I won't say we want contracts, but we want to be signed, you know. And that's why I said what I said about, jumping and getting excited on the last contract because I literally went on Facebook and I told everybody, I'm agency represented because I really was going to go with them. Like I was this close, and then I had to calm myself down and actually, like I said, read that contract. And the contract wasn't even the problem. It was the other stuff that was attached to the email, And basically, I'll tell y'all what it was I would be waiving all my royalties, which is a no.
Like what?
Why would I do that? But had I signed it without reading it, because I was excited, But had I signed it, then, that would have been a bad thing for me. So, I would just have to tell a person through my own experiences, what I've been through and why you can't just go with any and everything someone presents to you,
Didn't know models get royalties.
Right. What does that look like for a model?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Also, you, like...
No, I mean, this was my first. Like I said, actually, because like I said, I've been presented with 3 contracts prior to this agency that I actually signed with.
Yeah.
And the other agencies did not say anything at all in the paperwork about anything about royalties,
Bruh, so you mean to tell me, it's potentially that these agencies been getting over on models because obviously,
this isn't. I've
never heard, of course, musicians.
I've heard about, I know about musician
actors
royalties.
and whoever, but models.
I've never heard about model
royalties. Now this agency is a model and talent agency, so it might just be one for all, But, I'm not sure. I just knew when I read that was a no for me.
Yeah, right. I mean, it sounds like
that
a no.
Would have been
it sounds like a red flag.
That would have been a real big red
signing over all your royalties.
Yeah, no, no.
Right.
So, that was a big red flag.
I would have sent it back immediately.
Exactly. And I actually, called the agent, and I won't say the agency, but I actually called and, talked to him, and he tried to explain it to me, but it just didn't feel right. If something really don't feel right, don't do it.
Right.
And a lot of people have a hard time with that because people do stuff just because, it sounds good, it looks good, but I'm very much if it don't feel right, I can't do it.
So, when you had touched on WTVM covering your story, how did that go about?
Well, I had accepted a friend request and didn't know that she worked for WTVM, and we just talked, through conversation and stuff, and she let me know that she saw what I was doing. She was, liking my photos and leaving comments, for my photos and stuff, and we just ended up talking, and I was telling her, that I just really had this story that I just wanted people to hear. Right. Because like I said, what you asked me earlier about opening or starting an organization, I legit want to do. And I want to reach out to people and share things and, stuff. So that was my opportunity right there. And some years ago, I had been on Dee Armstrong's show, and I would see her off and on and stuff. And so, it was hard to get in touch with her. But when, this opportunity came up to really get my story out there, we just started talking about it, and that's how that came about. But like I said, it was just wanting everybody to know, look, no matter what you're doing, if this is what you love to do, don't give up on that. You can still follow your dreams at the age that you are, because like I said, I'm older, than when I started. You know, never thought I would still be doing this. You know, but I'm doing it, and so I just wanted people to see that. You know, and like I said, just not give up.
That kept your flame lit.
Yeah, it did. It did.
The love and the passion.
Yeah.
For it, and that's big, man. I don't think people really realize, like, when you have a real love and like a real passion for something, like, if it's for you, it's for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't force it at all. Like, I've been through a few things that at my little age, but just trying to force myself to do certain things, and I just couldn't do it. Even when it was just for like the money.
Yeah.
And like, so hearing you is reassuring. To myself and to us, and I'm sure somebody's going to hear this and be like, I thought about quitting, but I heard Sean, and I'm not. I'm gonna keep going.
After that article came out, I kid you not, I had people on Facebook that I did not know. Some I knew, some I didn't know. More people that I did not know, reaching out to me. And this one girl, she was only 20. But she was like, I'm not going to give up, on what I'm trying to do. And I was like, no, you don't need to, older women that were my age, some a little older than me that wanted to model that felt like they could not. After that article, told me that they felt like they could. Yeah. And I mean, that was a big thing for me, for them to reach out to me and, share their stuff with me, that they felt comfortable and that they could open up to me was another thing, So Nicole, she is the one at WTVM that wrote that article.
Hey, shout out to her.
Yeah, like big time, because once she put that article out there, and like that day, that morning that she released it, and I hadn't even gone to her page to find the article. I was already getting, congratulations. And I mean, I had a lot of support. And then she sent me a screenshot where other news picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like, wow, what? That shocked me more than anything. And I was like, MSN, what? As we picked it up. And so I felt like, just the fact that it reached further than I thought that it would, that was big for me.
That's huge.
Yeah, like
that is huge.
Yeah.
What's new? Like, what's next for you?
Well, I have a photo shoot tomorrow for a magazine submission.
Always working.
Always working. Like I said, always. I'm going to get some rest this week, though. But, I have a shoot tomorrow. And I'm going to schedule me some time off this week. But I will be back to more shoots. And then, like I said, in March, on the 20th of March, I walk again in Charlotte. It's a 1950s themed fashion show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but it's something that I'm trying to get prepared for, and I don't know. I mean, every day I get something, so I never know really what I'm gonna do. I'm blessed that photographers reach out to me to do shoots, and that I'm just able to work. So I never really know, what I'm going to be doing until the opportunity, comes up.
Do you write down your goals?
To be honest, no. I know that sounds bad. No, I don't. It's all up here. I know everything that I want to do. I've never been one to write them down. I've always known, just what I want to do.
Just keep mental notes.
Mental notes.
So you don't, so as you just continue to check them off your list, you just like, in your mind, you just like, okay, I know I want to do this next.
Yeah, I mean, that's really how I am.
I could never be able to keep up with it like
Look,
that.
my grandmother, she told me a while back, she said, I bought you a calendar. I'm like, okay. And she said, so you can write down, your stuff on. I was like, okay. I don't use it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I call her Mama, though. She was like my mother growing up. Yeah. But, she always talked to me about writing things down and keeping things organized. But right. I don't know, for me, it's like when things are written down and organized, it just don't work for me. I like I don't know what it is. Because it's
spontaneous.
Almost, it's like when I'm, just for an example, when I'm making jewelry, and I would have orders, but I never really wrote them down. I just knew what I had to do, because at one point I had jewelry in 3 stores here in Columbus. No, 2 salons here in Columbus and 1 store in Alabama. And I would be working on pieces for them. I would think about the customers I had, and I go and work on their stuff, because I did a lot of custom orders. And I never wrote anything down. I just knew what I needed to do.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I'm not this organized person. I literally tried to organize all my jewelry supplies. I couldn't find a thing. My creativity comes from I guess just the chaos of just stuff everywhere, because I come up with the best ideas when stuff is not organized. I don't know, I'm weird.
Organized chaos.
Right. Yeah, that's how it is for me. Because I was, and this is just talking about my jewelry right now, if stuff was out of place, I have all these different beautiful beads to work with. Just looking at them, I could come up with combinations, in my head that I probably would not come up with if they were in order. So I work better that way. So I don't write, anything down.
That's hard.
I mean, it works for some people, but it's never worked for me.
Right.
And you the best.
Right.
You know that, okay, you know yourself the best. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Tell us about how did you start your jewelry company, and what's the name of it?
It's called Sugar.
Sugar?
Mm-hmm. It's called Sugar because when my oldest son, who's now 17, was 9, and I thought about, if I had a business, what would I name it? And I asked my child, what's your mommy name? Her business. And he said, Sugar, because you're so sweet.
Oh!
And that's why I called it Sugar. So he named my business for me. But I started creating things in 2012. Mm-hmm. And originally, I didn't create them to sell them. I just did it because I enjoy crafting, because I also draw. Mm-hmm. I'm a little artist. And I started because I always bought accessories. Right. I've always been into fashion. So I would go to stores and I would buy accessories. And I was looking one day, and I couldn't find anything that I really just wanted. And I started really looking at pieces and thinking, I wonder if I could make this. That's how I started.
I'm sorry.
No, just looking at stuff and just wondering if I could do the same thing. And so I went to Michael's, got me some tools, didn't even really know what I needed, but I knew basic stuff. Got me, just some supplies, and just sat there and started making earrings. Was the first things I started making. And then I would be proud of my stuff. So I would post it on Facebook at that time. And someone asked me how much. It was like a light bulb went off. It's I can sell this stuff. That's how I started selling.
Do you still have products in these 2 shops in one store?
No, because after the pandemic, with all the shutting down, and then the place in Alabama actually went out of business. It was a gift shop, pharmacy type of place, real nice place, but they went out of business. Mm-hmm. And so I just ended up picking up my things. But I was a 4-year vendor at Market Days on Broadway. Mm-hmm. I'd been down there for 4 years. And I just didn't go back when they opened things back up because of, all the stuff going on. Right. So I do my stuff mainly, I work from home. Right. And I'm soon going to get back into doing it because, like I said, doing what I do with modeling has taken up so much time but I'm going to start back doing my jewelry because I loved it and I had loyal customers, like seriously. Like this one woman had been with me for 4 years, always buying stuff. And you know, I kind of feel like I'm letting my people down because I'm not doing it, you know, and that's something that I love. That's a passion too.
And that's what you said you're gonna start your online store for, right?
Yeah, I actually have a website that's been developed, and I just have not yet sent my friend that developed it pictures. So he's waiting on me. He's been very patient because he's been waiting on me for some months. You know, I was supposed to launch it for New Year's, and you see it's February.
But you've been busy, man.
Yeah, and he's understanding. He understands it too, you know, but I felt bad because that was something that I really wanted to do, was launch my site, you know, for New Year's. But it's going to happen.
Definitely.
Is there anybody else any other models in the city that people need to look out for?
All of us. We a big team. Every one of us. I can't really shout out one person or two. I mean, I know so many that are just, you know, amazing. And many of them have their own businesses as well. And I want to, shoot, I hate to do this because I want to shout out everybody, you know. But I have a friend, Marnisha Sanders. She's got her own boutique. And I just became a brand ambassador for her as well. She's also a model. Gosh, there's so many of us. Honestly, I just would ask everybody to just support everybody, you know, to be honest. I mean, I go on my Facebook and I shout out so many people, you know, not just models, but, you know, business owners. I'm big on supporting, you know, your local businesses and stuff. Also your Black owned businesses, you know, I'm big on that too. But I'll just say, you know, every one of us, I just feel we all, you know, need to be supported.
Right.
Because we all working hard.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. You got anything else?
No. I'm playing with you. But I'm sitting over here, I'm looking at him like, we gonna answer next?
She said no, so no.
I'm sorry, you can ask me whatever.
No.
Make it easy.
Nah.
What's my favorite color?
Nah.
What's your favorite thing to eat after a shoot?
Everything. I'm probably y'all would be amazed to see me eat. Like, nobody thinks that I eat up the house.
Are you into really big into fitness?
No. No, I'm not, but I will tell you this, and I've been doing this for 18, going on 19 years. I started just looking into, you know, our diets, you know, not really diets, but just the things that people, you know, eat. Learning things that were being added to, you know, our food and stuff. And so I went strictly like organic, like natural, holistic, all of that stuff years ago. I transitioned my family into eating healthier alternatives and, you know, even like the stuff that I use on my body and my house, you know, all of that stuff. And I feel like because I changed my entire lifestyle, that is the reason why I haven't had to really exercise. I mean, exercise should be done anyway, you know, for overall health. But like people ask me all the time, like, do I work out? And no, but I eat, you know, well, you know, I eat, I went vegan for like 3 years at one point, and that wasn't easy starting off, but I found that I felt better, looked better, all of that stuff like that. I did go back to eating, you know, some meats later, but like I haven't had beef and pork in like 15, 16 years, you know.
You probably eat that stuff and get sick.
Yeah. And I say that because like one of the first things that I stopped eating when I transitioned over to a vegan diet was chicken, and I loved chicken. But I went vegan, like I said, for 3 years, and then I went to this she's like a holistic dermatologist because I started having issues with my skin at that point. And she told me to introduce animal protein back into my diet, and I really didn't want to do that after having been without it for 3 years. So I went ahead and did it, and I got so sick. Like, I was sick for days because I just ate chicken. I mean, you know, once your body has been without something for so long, it adjusts, you know, and then when you go back to eating those things, you have reactions and stuff. My best friend right now, I have her, you know, on this little health kick now where, like, I haven't had, like, refined sugar in, like, 14 years, you know, and I'm not saying it was easy, you know, starting off it wasn't, but I learned how to create, like, I had the biggest sweet tooth, and I learned how to create all these vegan desserts. I do cheesecakes, strawberry shortcakes, all kinds of stuff. None of them have sugar in them. You know, they're all and they're good because I made it for other people and they can tell you. You know, but people don't, you know, really think that something without sugar could taste good, you know, but it's natural sugars, you know, like your fruits and stuff, you know, those are the things that I eat, you know, but it's a lifestyle change, you know, it's not something that you can just, you know, do for a little while and then go back to, you know, doing other stuff. It's literally a lifestyle.
Right.
So that's kept me from having to really, you know, work out, but it's something that I want to do, you know, when I'm not so busy, I guess. It's something that I want to do for just overall health, you know, because everybody should do it.
I mean, your body is literally like your job, man. Like,
yeah, it matters.
Of course you have to, you know, eat better, and
it's an investment into my future, you know, pretty much. But like I said, I started that way before I got back into modeling, just because I wanted to, you know, feel better. You know, I wanted my kids to, you know, feel better as well, and like I have been, since this whole pandemic has started, like I have literally been around 2 people in the past, so y'all don't have to be afraid. It was not recent at all, that ended up having COVID, and they were around me. I haven't been sick in I don't know how long. I've done things over the years to help boost my immune system. I teach other people how to do it. You know, people reach out to me and ask me things to take. I'm not a doctor, but at the same time, I know what I have used and what has helped me all these years. And so, you know, it's information that I give to anybody that wants to know, you know.
Could you touch on it a little bit?
Yeah. So there are a few things that will boost your immune system. Something called elderberry, echinacea, sea moss gel helps a lot. I get sea moss gel here locally from a woman named Jackie Easley. She has all types of stuff. And elderberry is used, or it fights colds and flu. Also things like honey, antibacterial, you know, lemon. I make a honey lemon mixture where I just take, like, for an example, 2 lemons, you slice them thin, you throw away the seeds, but you're using the peel, the pulp, everything, all your nutrients and stuff are in the peels of your fruits and vegetables. You know, that's why I do organic, because you're going to, you know, be eating the peels to some of these things, and you really want them as pure as you can get it, you know, without pesticides and all that stuff. But with the tea mixture, all it is taking like a mason jar, slicing up 2 lemons thin, putting everything into that jar, and then taking honey and just pouring the honey in. It's literally just honey and lemon. And when you want to make tea with it, you boil your water, put it in your mug, add, like, you know, your honey and lemon mixture into that mug and stir, and then you sip on it. I've been telling people about that have had COVID and have felt better after drinking that, because, like I said, the honey has all kinds of you know, healthy, like, properties to it. Stuff like ginger root, real ginger root, and turmeric root, I mean, there's just so many different things that you can do to just naturally boost your immune system that would get your body working the way that it needs to, so it can ward off things and fight things, you know, without resulting to, you know, all this kind of chemical stuff, you know.
You a fan of Dr. Sebi?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good man. Well, he was
Yes.
a good man. R.I.P.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I followed him a lot on a lot of different stuff. But like I said, I started off reading books on this type of thing like so long ago. And just over the years, you know, I'm kind of a nerd. I'm kind of a nerd. I'm really into reading about, you know, health and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I have so many books on natural alternatives. You know, my medicine cabinet literally consists of a tea for everything. I just had a friend of mine, she's a designer, asked me last night, because she has anxiety, something to help her with that. And she said, you know, I want to, you know, like a tea. Is there a tea for that? And I said, yep. And I took a picture of something I had.
Oh, man.
and I sent it to her. And it was caffeine free, you know, helped with relieving stress. And I mean, I have a tea for like everything, no lie. You know, I'm always in health food stores. When I go to Atlanta, I go to Whole Foods Market, Seven Under, all of these places, you know, places that I wish we had here. But you can find those things here, you know, some of it.
Man, this was really great. This was really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, man. Once again, like
No
I said,
problem.
you're not only a staple to the community, because that puts you on the box, but like you're a staple, period.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like people really, they're following you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I appreciate, like I said, all of the support, because it's been overwhelming. I go on Facebook all the time and thank people. You know, like I said, for me, I just feel like, you know, I'm just me. You know, so when they're sharing my photos on Facebook, or they're sharing this article, that article was shared the last time I checked it, which has been a minute now, but the last time I checked it, it was 339 shares on that article.
That's crazy.
And I don't know what it is now. You know, I have not been looking, but I just knew the last time, and that was when it came out, like a couple days after it came out, they shared it, you know, so much, and I just appreciated that, you know.
All right.
Man, we like to, you know, give our guests their flowers while they're here.
Right.
Thank you.
But they can smell them and inhale them.
And inhale them. Because, man, like,
You deserve it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Like,
you. I
you
appreciate
deserve it. And you deserve all your flowers now.
Right.
Thank you.
Not when you're gone, or not when you're, you know, old and you can't, you know, really, really appreciate them. You deserve them now, man. And, like, people need to know. People need to hear it.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Because once again, like, you're a motivation to not only us but the world.
Right.
I appreciate that. You know, it's like I said, it's been a journey for me, but I'm so thankful, you know, to be where I am. And like I said, just for all the love and the support that I've received has just been overwhelming. So I always want to, you know, thank people, because like I said, they don't have to follow me, like any of my photos. Just the fact that they take the time out of their busy schedules to do that. I just want them all to know, you know, I appreciate that.
Definitely. How we like to end the show off is we like to ask our guests what's their top 5. I'm not gonna say top 5 models. That's cliche. Mm-hmm. Or that's what you want me to say. I'm gonna say, what's your top 5 tea?
My top 5 what now?
Tea.
Tea?
You
like,
said, you just mentioned, you said,
you got a tea for everything.
You got
yeah,
a tea for everything. Like, what's your top 5 teas?
Okay. Well, since I'm in the industry that I'm in, I drink. I'm asked about my skin because I had breakout so bad at one point. Like, I didn't have a clear spot on my face. Mm-hmm. That's how it was. So I'm big on they're called beauty teas, basically. I'll tell y'all now, they sell them at Fresh Market.
Okay.
I cannot remember the brand, but it's a tea that promotes collagen in your skin naturally. Is vegan and all that stuff like that. But the teas that help like with inflammation are like turmeric teas. I'm not a big fan of turmeric as far as the taste, but you can sweeten the tea, honey or, whatever you want to put in it to make it, but it's very good for like inflammation. They have teas for immune system boosting. I'm big on those. And that's like your, like I said, your elderberry, anything with elderberry in it. And then for people that have a lot of stress, which we all do, chamomile tea helps you sleep. Anything with lavender in it helps you promote, good sleep. That's probably why I'm talking about it, since I say I never sleep. I need to be taking my own advice, but that's something that helps as well. And how many did I name?
I think that was 4. Right.
Oh, y'all keep a track. Okay.
She trying to skate out with just 4.
Right.
No, because I lost track. And so I would say like the last one. Let me think of like a good one. Oh God. I'm really trying to think of one, and I have all these teas at home. Like, my mind just went blank.
You gonna go back home and open up your cabinet and be like, oh.
Then I'm gonna message you. Then I'm gonna message all of you and tell you what it was. Because I literally have like a whole shelf full of just nothing but tea. But like I said, it's, like something for everything. Like if you literally go into a health food store, Country Life or Vitamin Shop has a large selection of all these different teas, and it'll tell you, on the box what they're all good for. So you don't have to go in there blind, not knowing.
What about detox tea?
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, there's a tea that I use. Any tea that says that it does detox and cleansing. I mean, you can even get those from Walmart. To be honest with you, it's like a Walmart brand, but the ingredients on the back, just make sure when you're getting them that they're herbal. They're not. I don't drink anything, but like if I drink something with caffeine in it, it's going to be green tea. I mean, green tea is good for a lot of different things. So, if it's not green tea, then all my other teas are caffeine free. Those are all your herbal teas. But yeah, the detox teas are really, really good, and you can drink those really on a daily basis. It's not anything that's, harsh. It's not going to have you like run into the bathroom and doing all that stuff like that. You can feel good about, doing that. But yeah. Thank you for giving me my 5th.
Oh, you're welcome.
You saw me struggling.
I had to throw it the alley for you. I got you.
But that was a good one. I even think about. But yeah, your detox teas. Yeah.
And I got one more question.
Go ahead.
If you could ask us something, whether it's 1, 2, 3, however many questions you want to ask, what would it be?
What do y'all, and it may sound like a question that, is often asked, but like with what you all do, and first of all, I want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all for doing what you do, for giving, us a voice, because up until this point, I've done some interviews and stuff, but I think that's really great that you bring people in this community, and like you said, letting people know that, putting Columbus on the map, basically. Like, what more do you want to do in the future besides just this? Do you have plans to do other things as well?
Did you want to answer or you want me to answer?
No, I mean, we can all kind of chime in.
Well, we all individually have things going on.
Right.
You know, like I said before, you need your graphics, your beats.
Look, and
Yes.
that was my way of getting y'all to talk about what y'all told me.
Listen, like you,
I already knew.
you know all that. Like you want all that. That's Will. You
Yeah.
know, if you looking for like your visuals, your photography, you want a feature verse, the man. You want brand ambassadorship.
If you want fashion tips.
I mean, the list goes on. If you need help losing weight,
Gumbo already told you he didn't do anything that your doctor didn't tell you to do already.
Right. But if you need it, guarantee he gonna give you the right answer. He ain't gonna steer you wrong.
Right.
You know, but that's what he does. So it's just, and I have he also has a label called Free Coast.
Okay.
We're also a part of BGBN, which is Rez's label. He's in the middle.
Yeah.
Be great, be great, or be nothing. It's the list goes on.
And as far as Free Gems Network, hosting other podcasts,
actually becoming a network.
right? It's something that's definitely in the works.
Events.
Right, hosting events, something that we actually have done already, but definitely hosting more events.
Having our own show, like having people, like I said before, we've had people like an audience, whether it's been here or whether it's been in Atlanta, but an actual Free Gems Network event where people come in and see it. That's something that we're working on as well.
Right.
All right. Well, y'all would do it. Good luck with all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our journey.
Taking out time of your busy day.
Because you're a busy woman.
Right. you could have been asleep right now.
Never. I could have been working. No, I'm playing.
Right, for real.
But I'm gonna start getting some sleep because that's important. I mean, that's so important to your body. But yeah, when I sleep. I do sleep. It ain't like it needs to be, but I'm always doing something. Behind the scenes.
You're our longest episode.
Really?
You probably didn't even realize how long we've been sitting here talking.
No, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it.
That's great. Like we're hitting triple digits.
Oh, well, cool.
But once again, thank you. And if y'all don't have any other questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Good.
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, this concludes this episode of Free Gems Network.
Free Gems Network.